Hey, Kitaholic Kits fans, how are we all? It's Amy here, and I'm up with a 12 by 12 layout for you using one of these lovely cut files from this month. I think this is my second layout using our cut files, and I went with this Polaroid frame kind of one, and I thought I would try and be a bit clever, I guess, and try and pop some photos in the actual Polaroid frames. Now, I kind of got lucky here and had the frames, all the photos to fit the frames. Originally, I was playing around with a couple of different photos that I wanted to scrap. And originally the pattern papers were going to be backing those frames, but then I had these photos and they fitted and it went really well, and voila! So I wanted to use some different papers that I hadn't used previously, just for something a bit different. So I went with these two blue ones because I've cut this cut file out with one of the pink pattern papers. So when I first got the kits and the cut files were sent to me, I dove straight in and started doing the cut files and printed or cut all the cut files out, and I wanted to use some of the pattern papers that caught my eye straight away, and I think there was a pink speckly one, and that's what I think is this one. So it went really well because I have a pink, like a pajama top or something on in this photo with my son, and yeah, so it goes really well, contrasts really well with the blue. So sticking with a bit of the frame kind of thing happening there, I've got this background paper, which has got all different sentiments in it that I kind of liked as well. And it balances off that really dark blue and green background or backing paper that I have on the Polaroids as well. So in the kits this month, we had these chipboard swirly pieces. I don't know what you want to call them. Are they borders? Frames maybe? Would that be what you call them? I don't know. Anyway, so instead of, I think in last month's maybe we had some frames like this, chipboard pieces, and I was saying I don't like leaving them raw. So this time I painted them. I actually had a bit of patience and a bit of time and actually painted them with some of my Dilutions paint in that blue and that pink colour. Again, just matching with what some of the colours are that I already have in my layout. And you sort of got to see how I'm going to use them, balancing each other off in that top left and bottom right corner, which you'll see once they've dried, and I pop them in underneath. So for now, what I actually do is while they're drying, I'm going to play around with some embellishments here, and I don't make you sit while I decide what's going to go where as such. But I do play around so that once they're dry, it's kind of basically a sticking down everything, kind of, bang, 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 everything was ready to go. Maybe add a few pieces here and there as I go along, as I adhere everything down, so that way then it's good. And I'm using a mix of what we got in both the main and the embellishment kit. So I've got a mix of the Kaiser Craft. I can't think of the collection, and I'm not sitting at my desk while I do this voiceover. Mine's gone blank. And the Pink Fresh Studio collection that we had as well, the Everyday Musings one, I can remember that one, as well as our exclusive kits, printable one as well. So I'm trying to use a mix of everything in this one. A bit of a big hurrah. So now I'm just going to pop everything down. But I did realise the one thing I hadn't actually anticipated was when I put the chipboard pieces down, it like bumped up my photo a bit. So it gave it obviously a bit of dimension. So I then had to add some 3D dimension-y bits to the back of my photo bits and that there. So I was like, because I kind of ran out of 3D foam at the moment, and I keep forgetting to replace it. So thank God I still have packing boxes kicking about the house. So I sort of had to rummage around and find them, which I think they're mainly sitting at the back. So I did, and pulled some cardboard box off that and actually stick some to the back. So that way then, of the photos, so that way then it props up a little bit evenly so to match the chipboard pieces. And I really like how this gives a bit of texture to the layout, and adds, I guess it adds with those swirly pieces. There's two different patterns here because I've used a frame of one of the swirls as well as then the innards, I guess, of the swirly pieces for the chipboard. But then the colours as well as the different sizes and everything. There's a whole heap of different visual things happening just by adding those two different chipboard pieces to the layout. So instead of just being a stick and plonk cut file Polaroid frame kind of thing, I think it just gives that something a bit different. So I was really happy with the way that worked out. I was a bit sort of unsure if it was going to look any good. Or really work with the frames, and I think it does really well. So, phew, design element achieved. I was happy about that. Thank goodness. So now we're just adding, what have I got happening here? What am I playing with? Oh, so now I'm just adding, you can see those embellishments being added. Trying to add, so I added some layering pieces or layered pieces in the middle there. That flower with that kind of tag piece. That being together is my happy place or something, I think it said. I had to use that piece. Oh, is my favourite place. Because I just love that. Being with my boy is my favourite, is definitely one of my favourite places. So I definitely had to put that there. But it did look a bit odd. So I just laid it with the flower. That was sort of some things. I really liked a lot of the little sentiment pieces in this month's kits. They were just perfect for this layout. So it was a bit hard to choose which one. So I kind of wanted to plop them all on. And I've just added a little journaling tag there. You can see in that bottom right frame that says hashtag mumlife. And that's just from our printables. It's nothing too too fancy or anything like that, but it was just nice, simple, fitted in perfectly with the little frame in the middle. And I didn't need too much to explain what we're doing. It's going in his album, and he knows what it is, so that's all that matters. It ended up being a very busy layout, which I guess would probably look busy regardless to some degree once you add even a few embellishments because you've got those 4 really big frames. But meh, it's all good. I don't mind. The busier the better sometimes. I used some of those gold thickers to add my title, which is My Home is With You, I think it was. And I just did My Home and then just added my attempt at scripty font underneath, which is a bit cut off at the moment on screen. My apologies. Oh, there you go. And that's the end. So I've got some close-ups up for you. I hope you enjoyed my layout, and I'll see you again shortly for my final project for March. See you again soon. Bye.